Jesus stopped and said, "Call him." Mark chapter 10, verse 49. In a way, this healing story from Mark about blind Bartimaeus is such a simple story. There's nothing special about it, nothing all that unusual or distinctive. Stories just like it are scattered throughout the Gospels. According to the record, Jesus was always healing people, men, women, children, the lame, and the blind. Once he healed a man with a withered arm, and once he healed 10 lepers from the terrible disease leprosy. He was always doing things like that. It was so typical of him, so normal, so in character. Yet it seems this particular story, which incidentally is paralleled in both Matthew and Luke, has an especially unaffected and natural quality about it, an ingenious matter-of-fact quality about it, almost as if the physical healing was not intended by the author to be the most important thing to be remembered. It is a simple story. It has no complex plot, no sudden twists and turns, no highly developed personality characterizations, and very little dialogue. It's a simple story. Even a child can understand it as it flows from the page. Yet there is something here so profound and so searching, so timeless and so wonderful that we could spend days on it and not exhaust the material. The setting is Jericho, the city of palms. In Jesus' day, a tourist city, a resort city, a good place for beggars, located down in the valley near the banks of the Jordan, about 15 miles from Jerusalem on the road that leads to Transjordan. A blind man named Bartimaeus lived there, with no means of support except to beg. We don't know how he became blind. Maybe he was that way from birth. Maybe his blindness resulted from an accident, or maybe from a disease. Even today, the Middle East has a shockingly high percentage of blind people. It's one of the first things you notice when you travel there. The accounts just don't tell us that information. This man was forced, apparently, to eke out a precarious existence, the best he could by playing on the sympathy of others. Don't you wonder what he might have thought on this day as he went out to his station along the highway? Don't you wonder if he had any premonition of what it might bring? Do you suppose he went out that day resigned or optimistic? After all, it was the Passover season, a good time of the year for beggars. It was sort of like Christmas, when our hearts are tenderer than usual, and human compassion is more easily aroused. Could he have had an inkling of what was to come? At any rate, suddenly, it happened. A parade, an entourage. Bartimaeus couldn't see, but he could feel, sense.